Mathematics Entertainment, Truth History.
Right. EX, you already know. He came to my hometown, you know. We doing our thing. Nothing but positivity. That's
Brooklyn,
all.
East New York in the house, in the Bronx.
East New York, you already know. We there.
We got Luis Barrios. We're gonna be March 12th. We bringing the whole army there, and we're gonna blow it up. And you say, what you doing? Well, like I said, who gives a hell about King Tone? But if he got bread, he got a little wine, he got a little music, and he got a lot of truth, we want the youth. You old asses stay home.
Right.
Bring the kids. We know your story. Bring your sons. Stop talking about yourself.
Okay, okay.
And that's all I want you to know, man. We here again as a group and as a movement.
I ran Harlem, I ran the East Coast, I sold more drugs than a little bit. None of this is to brag, none of this is to boast. I had over 300 cars, you see I look good, I still like to look good. You know what I mean? But now I want to do it the right way. You know what I mean? When I ran up and down back when I came on the streets, my brother, my own blood brother, I was 8 years old, he gave me a ratchet. You know what I mean? That's a knife that opens out and then told me, go survive. They put me in the streets, in the weed houses. I started selling weed at a young age. You know what I mean? I was told that was the thing to do. No one told me not to do it. I did everything, and I made it all the way to the top of the food chain. And I'm here to tell you it wasn't worth it. I just did 26 years and a half in federal prison for being a kingpin. I mean, I loved it when I did it because I was lost and confused, and I thought that was the American dream. But that's what was implemented to me as the American dream. Go get a Mercedes, go get a BMW, go get the bling. You know what I mean? And I did all of that. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, it wasn't worth it. It cost me 26 years in prison. I went to ADX Supermax, where they got El Chapo up now. They opened that up for me because I stabbed 2 police because the police disrespected me from where I'm from. What he did was a disrespect. Where he was standing, it wasn't. I didn't see the line. You know what I mean? I got my own rules, my own morals. If you violate those, then I moved. Because that's what I thought life was about. No one told me about the other side. When I went to Supermax, they had me locked in a cage for 5 years underground. Kenny was with me in Allenwood. The brother just spoke. That's who asked me to come out with a deal. And I'm telling you, none of that was worth it. I stayed in a cage for 5 years with no human contact. My whole family was destroyed. They tried everything to break me real quick. They killed my brother. The feds shot him in his head 2 times. Handcuffed and shackled me to the floor of a table and brought in big 8x10 colored pictures with green brain matter coming out of his head. And they're laughing at me, telling me the fox hunt is over and we're going to put you in an electric chair. They did everything to try and break me. None of this is to brag. I'm just saying the way I was raised, I couldn't be broken because I was raised as a warrior and it wasn't worth it. Let me say that again. It wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? My own brother set me out in the streets. You know what I mean? I had my first 38 at 9 years old. From my brother. Up to this day, everybody telling me to forgive him and talk to him. I forgive him, but I can't talk to him. That was my brother. He was supposed to protect me. And he gave me a 38 and said, go shoot the dudes hustling in front of the building selling our little $5 bags of weed. And me at 9 years old, I don't know no better. I went and shot him, came back. Yeah, big bro. Yeah, big bro. I did it. You know what I mean? Then when he got locked up, I moved from Brooklyn in the Bronx and went over to Harlem. And I took over Harlem and started selling keys, 25 keys a day up in Washington Heights. None of that is to brag. But I'm telling you again, none of that was worth it. Because it took 26 years out of my life. My daughter was 18 months when I got locked up. One of them, I got 7 kids. I come home, she's 27. I don't even know how to talk to her. Because I bought a big house in Jersey, so she grew up in Jersey and she's what, you know, no disrespect. You know, I label as bougie. You know what I mean? You know, I make this all that, but I love her to death. But my sacrifice was worth it there. So I see, you know, where my money went, where my struggles went. I'm not proud of none of that. Like I said, when I say the cars, that y'all can say, y'all Google me. I got a YouTube channel with 25,000 subscribers. They pay me to do what I'm doing here, but I'm doing this for free because I'm trying to give y'all what nobody gave me. If somebody would have told me, don't shoot that man, Don't take that ratchet. Who say I would have listened? I might not have listened. I'm going to keep it 100. I ain't no bit of fate. But if they tried, I don't know what would have happened. I fell, bumped my head, and came off the stoop and started selling cocaine. I couldn't read and write till I was 30 years old, 32 years old. While I was making millions, I couldn't read. I couldn't even read a street sign. I had to hustle in states that had numbers. That's why I came to Harlem, 425th Street. It's easy to get from 125th to 155th. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it 100. Ain't nothing. Listen, I'm driving down the street, man, but I'm going to give you one so y'all youngins now see the young people here. They show you how it's working. It's not worth it. We got codes in the streets. I'm not a part of the streets no more because it took 26 years away from my life, and they tried everything to break me. They broke up my family. I don't even know my own children. So if you want to give up 26 years of your life, enter into that. But there's codes, and the code is you don't tell. Forget all that YouTube stuff they telling. So I'm telling you, don't put yourself in that situation so you don't have to make the choice not to tell. Don't put yourself in that situation. But if you choose to bring your ass out there in the street because you think you tougher than me, or you could, you know, they not going to break you. You know what I mean? Know when you go out there and do something stupid, you take responsibility for your own actions. I went to trial and sat up there for 2 weeks, and I watched my best friend that I bought a house, cars, BMW, took care of his mother. Get on the stand and trying to remember where my mother's house was in Miami Beach so they could take it. So they could put my mother on the street. This is a dude that sat in the house with my mother, and I bought his mother a house. But this is what friends do. So I'm telling you, it's not worth it. Don't even get out there. You don't have to make these choices. I got a homie that two of them look alike. Tell y'all young people this, and then I'm out of here. Got two young dudes. They both look alike. Like how you two in the middle look alike. They call you John and Day. You know what I mean? That's your name. Day. So they call you John and Day. So we go out. John always doing something wrong. You know what I mean? They go out and kill somebody, and all they knew to say was John. Because his name always came up first. So they went and picked up John for the murder that they did. But that they did. John ain't had nothing to do with it. He was home with his grandmother eating cookies. But when they came and pick him up from the rules of the street, he couldn't tell. John in jail now. I just left him. Still serving life. Been in there 40 years because he kept it real. He kept it hood. Don't make them stupid goddamn choices so you ain't got to be John all day. And that's all I'm trying to tell you. But if you go out there, hold your own. Play by those rules if you want to play by them. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. I did 26 years in prison, and I lost everything. I'm just starting over, but the right way. They pay me good to tell y'all these real stories. YouTube pay me good. They pay me to make speeches like this, but I'm here for Adele and for the Kenyan and for the people in the movement and anything I could do. My name is Unique Maker Audio. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, but I'm telling you, John and Day is real, my nigga. They real. So that means the three of y'all decide to go break a window with a rock. Throw a rock through a window and the car crash and hit three little kids on the corner. And you said, I don't want to have nothing to do with it before it even happened. But you still went with them. And then now, they run. You don't run because you don't throw the rock. But they charge you with it. So now you're looking at homicide for these little kids. The rules on the street, you got to wear that, my nigga. You got to wear that. So that's why I'm telling you, don't enter it so you don't have to make these decisions, to make the choices I had to make that took 26 years out of my life. You know what 5 years in a goddamn cell is? By yourself?
Yes, sir.
They got El Chapo there, man. They opened me up and Google me. I'm on there. My government name is Waynesworth Hall. But everybody call me Unique. But Unique is telling you it wasn't worth it. My brother never said learn to read. Go, you know, let me teach you your ABCs. He said, here, get this triple beam scale. You know what I mean? You put the coke on this side and you got the weight on that side. And when you do it, you know where it's at. You put the line between one and here. That's 1/10 of a gram. 1/10 of a gram is $10. 10 of them is $100. We're going to give it to them for $80. You see how fast I said that? I knew how to do that from when I was 8. And I didn't know my ABCs when I was 8. People tell me today that I'm a genius. No, I'm not a genius. I'm screwed up. I'm all screwed up. You know what I mean? Because I know the rules of the street, don't want to be a part of it. But if you enter into it, you got to honor that. That's why I'm telling you, don't do it. So you ain't got to make those choices. The streets is not for none of y'all, man. It wasn't for me. I'm going to close out with that, man, but just so y'all know, it wasn't worth it, man.
Amen.
It wasn't worth it.
My name is Melody. My organization is called No Voice Unheard. I started my organization when I lost my father 10 years ago to suicide. I learned then that there's a lot of healing that needs to be done in our community. A lot of kids suffer in silence. So I want to be that voice that's there for those that are killed, to gun, gang, and street violence. And what I'm going to say is a little different from my team. I do believe in solidarity with NYPD because I do believe that we need law enforcement in our communities, and I believe in public safety.
You got that in you, and you don't have to go to jail like I did. The stupid things I did to try to please my boys in my hood. This is the way. You got to get spiritually, mentally, and physically strong. And Sambo, tell them your story, then give them the mic. To those who want to stand up, please, let's keep it around 6 minutes. We do got a thing, then we'll close it so we can learn from you like you learning a little bit about us. Go ahead, Mr. Sambo.
In the spirit of unity, right, Tom?
Always.
I was firing yesterday, and it was freezing outside. I saw these kids, and I was like, yo, you guys got to go to the kids. And they came, they showed up, man, and it's like, yo, I gave over 500 flyers, and to see you guys come up, it's really touching, and I really appreciate that.
They can't leave. I've got a special gift for them.
Yeah, I got a gift around there too that I might be able to give you guys. So don't go too far. But anyway, I'm Joseph Sanchez. They call me Professor Sanchez. I'm a adjunct professor at CUNY, and I'm also been around the neighborhood doing a lot of community work for a long time. I'm also a manager in the Parks Department. I'm the manager of Crotona Park, right here, not too far from here. I'm also a doctoral student at Teachers College, Columbia University. And but I grew up in Washington Heights in the 70s and the 80s. I saw the whole thing play out. And as a kid, I always felt like this is all preventable. I mean, you know, I saw friends die. I saw friends get locked up. I saw friends get deported. I saw friends get beat up by their fathers. And I saw a lot of the crime, man. When I was coming up, a lot of people got locked up, and I ended up being so passionate about everything that was happening that I went to John Jay and I started studying criminal justice, and I ended up in the police department with the New York City Housing Police Cadets in 1993. And I was like number 48. They picked 50 people, and I was 48 because they just picked me because it was like, pick him. He's another ghetto dude. He's gonna be one of the first Dominican sergeants. And I ended up at the top of the class. I was like number 4 at the end, and but they were hating on me. They didn't want me. They used to call me perp. And I used to patrol over here in PSA 7. All these streets. We used to go to Claremont, to Millbrook, and at that point I realized that, you know, what the community needs and what we need in the community is crime prevention, not law enforcement.
I just want to give y'all a little bit of history on me. I just came home doing 29 years in the federal system. I was going from 1992 to 2021. I just came home June 2nd. I ain't been out a year yet. I was one of those guys in the 80s that destroyed the community. And now I'm here to bring the community back. I got a lot of stories to tell, but I just can't because they ain't give me enough time. I'm just letting y'all know, jail and prison is not the answer. I missed 29 birthdays, 29 Christmases, 29 Thanksgivings. In a 5x10 cell for 29 years with another man. You know what I'm saying? I've been seeing killings, I've been seeing rape, I've been seeing it all. I can tell y'all some stories that'll twist your head back, but like I said, I'm limited on time. For the youth, drugs, gangbang, whatever you're doing, it's not the move. Because prison is no joke. I'm one of them people, like I said, I got affected by the 94 crime bill that the Democrats signed that kept me in jail for 29 years. I had 2 life sentences. 2 life sentences. When you get life in feds, that means you spend the rest of your life in prison. Luckily, the system, I'm from the 4th Circuit, me and my co-defendants, case came out, it affected us, now we all home. That's what I'm saying. Like I said, I'm glad to be here. Whatever assistance y'all need me to do, I'm here for y'all. Like I said, I want to empower the youth to bring them back to reality. Because like I said, I was one of those guys, like I said, in the 80s. You can Google it, in the 80s. Trying to impress people, trying to impress the girls, trying to get all the cars. And look what landed me up here. landed in prison for 29 years. My daughter was 4, little Kenny was 6 months, and Dave was 2. They grown, and I'm a grandfather. So they had to see me grow up in prison. Every week, they got to bring your kids to prison. So not only did I hurt my kids, I hurt my family because the stress I put on them. You know what I mean? So I'm just letting y'all know that I'm here. Adele is my partner. You know, we together. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for having me here. Like I said, if you want contact, whatever you want, I'm here to speak and go around and let the youth know that go to school. Your education is important. Because if I could do it all over again, I'd have went to school. I would have never sold drugs, not knowing that I was facing 2 life sentences and never come home. The judge told me, you will never see the street again. He told me that in my face. And I'm looking at him like, what? He said, yeah, you will never see the streets again. But luckily, the grace of God, the case came out and sprung me on my co-defendants. Like I said, now I'm home. So I just want y'all to know that's my story. I got a lot to tell. I don't have a lot of time. But listen, I can tell you some stories now that you will not want to go to prison. You will think twice and you'll think about going to your education, be who you be, but you will not want to go to those prison doors. I'm telling you, because it's nothing fun for another man to keep telling you to take a shower, you got to eat, you got to go to bed. This is what's going to happen. So thank y'all for having me. God bless y'all.
Amen.
Thank you for coming down. So we got one credible messenger identified.
Yeah, that's one right
We
there.
got one. I'm going to see identified
New
5.
Jersey,
Jersey.
stand up. From anybody, stand up, Mr. People, tell them what's going on. Grab that mic over there and just let them know what's going on so they'll know about it.
I'm going to pass it right.
Yeah,
Jersey. I'm going to pass it to my boy over here.
Pass it back and then pass it to him and then give it to Jersey after him. Whichever one. Whatever works best.
When I say peace, you say peace. Peace, family. Peace, family. Peace. Hey, I chair. My name is Dennis Freebell. I'm the founder and CEO of Salvador Warrior Insights. We're based out of Jersey City, Hudson County, and we're now growing all across the state of New Jersey. We got half of Jersey coming in any few minutes now. Oh, no. South Jersey, Drew up here to represent as well. So, who I am is I'm the son of the product of that. My father, he was an addict. He took his own life in 08. I had to raise my brothers and sisters. I had the whole, we all have a story, right? But for me, at least, I had the privilege of going to school and getting my degree. But I was one of those that said, once I get my education, I'm going to go back and do something with it. And ever since I did, I have. And for the past 10 years, I started my company. And I've been working with our incarcerated populations, our youth and juvenile justice. We've developed a lot of programming around the Hudson County area. And I started to hear about the Credible Messenger movement in New York, and I'm originally from Brooklyn. I graduated from John Dewey High School in Brooklyn, New York. We ended up in Jersey because my mother was in the towers. When the towers got hit, Merrill Lynch moved to Jersey, and we ended up in Jersey, right? As I learned my history, I knew that when we were going to go organize, that we didn't necessarily have to abide by colonial constructs. And what I mean by that, there's no such thing as New York. There's no such thing as New Jersey. And if I go around moving around thinking that I'm Jersey and New York, mind you, I'm between the two, right, then I would have never really understand how humanity really moves. We know violence in Jersey comes from New York too. So if I'm going to try to work with Jersey, I know that the little Dominican kids in Patterson are calling Trinitarios and they're calling DDP to go down there and cause violence. Violence knows no boundaries, right? And our people organizing don't know boundaries either. So we don't have to revolve what we do around what the other says. And that's the difference about this movement, that we're being creative about how we're going to take charge in our community. I've worked with government for enough time to know that those people don't know what they're doing. And for any one of us to think that we're going to cast a ballot and some 4 old ladies in the office, according to my elders, but not that you're less capable of, but they're tired, right? They're not going to come up with the solutions for the community. It is on us. It is our responsibility to reimagine and declare what we know justice should look like, right? And as we did that, seeing what's going on in New York, I started telling everybody in Jersey, y'all see what's going on in New York? And lo and behold, I hear down the grapevine, King Tone's a credible messenger. I'm like, get the hell out. Somebody give me his number. So they ran up and grabbed his cell phone. Lo and behold, 4 years later, after all the conversations that we had to have, what went from an idea in the state of New Jersey has now swept the state to the point where we've gotten to rewrite the
the justice system code on how they work with our children. Whereas when these kids are going in, they have to come to us first, right? And for those of us that are in it, that we have an understanding that we have to train and we have to get right and we have to heal and we have to reimagine what we understand our people to already be, right? So that we can hold to account. Because a lot of the narrative about who we've been has been a lie, a straight up lie, told to get us to forget about our glory. And when we don't understand our glory, we ain't going to move together as a people. So we just letting y'all know, for whatever efforts are launched here in the Bronx, Jersey's got y'all back. Love y'all, family.
Police officer there. This is what Central Park all over again because they forced him to sign a confession statement. He called, he come home, and then he just tells me this now the other day, how they intimidated him and said, if you tell your mother's going to be mad because you know I rule with an iron fist. We know his father is a retired NYPD officer. Okay, so he doesn't come from, you know, to say, although I might have grown up in a low income, he don't come from a low income household. So here it is now. I'm faced with this in my own household, my own child, not understanding as much as he's seen me help other people in the community, as much as he tell people don't say nothing. That's why the Lord downloaded me, and I need your help. Josiah's Law. Josiah's Law is something the Lord gave me to help you guys. When you went in front of, I don't care if it's a school official, I don't care, law enforcement, you don't say anything. Because of the fact they say he said something, and then they went through his stuff without any of us being present, okay? And then, at the same time, he had no legal representation. So right now, we're fighting a case. It's in Supreme Court right now. Keep us in prayer. It's in Supreme Court right now. He had to take a plea because out in PA, if you're a juvenile, you have no jury. It's the judge. In Monroe County, where we're at, this Judge Jonathan Mark, this is something, unfortunately, because my grandmother raised me to love everyone. But we have a lot, we call them transplant. A lot of people from New York is coming out to PA because of the lifestyle, because it is a better living. But you also have a lot of Caucasian people, the girls out there, think it's a game and they get the young black men in trouble. Like you said, they are literally farming our young black men because these girls, there's no evidence. The evidence that could exonerate my son, the video footage, prostitution claim first, they lost it, and then they turned around and say it's damaged. So my son right now had to take a plea because of her words. She never went to nobody ever took her to the hospital or anything else. We have video footage, we have made videos. We were on the Jeff Fox show. And now they're looking to do a story on my son. Amen. I want Josiah's Law to come so whenever you come into contact with any type of situation like that, you know, if anything else, Josiah's Law means to shut up. Don't say nothing. Don't sign nothing. And if you can't remember anything else, you go back to rule number 1. You don't say nothing. You wait until you have your parents, you have the law enforcement, because at the end of the day, we're still fighting this. This young man at the age of 13 tested genius level. He was reading college level at the age of 13. All right, his vocabulary at the age of 13. He was actually classified. His IQ was like 135. He's right now preparing to go to college, but now we have to deal with this case that he's fighting depression and everything else because of a lie that was told. So now, whoever out here, I know somebody else came from PA. I know I love New York. I'm from Brooklyn.
The government's all over. Everybody's going to look in and they're going to help.
I'm from Brooklyn, but God has me in PA to set up programs out there because they literally farming our young Black Latino kids through the prison system. If you look it up, because I did the research, I saw it. And it doesn't matter how many degrees, because I got 4 degrees. I'm also in the doctoral program. But I put that aside because I don't want what happened to my son to happen to another young child.
Before you go. I can't share my whole story because I want you to tell your story. But I believe, and we're going to decree and declare, Pastor, get behind. We're going to decree and declare by the blood of Christ that everything is going to come out well. The same way he did it with me. He's going to change everything. He changed things in 3 days. Sunday's coming. Sunday is coming. He was on the cross, and Sunday he went to glory. So Sunday is coming upon your life. Let's bless him. Heavenly Father, at this moment in time, we plead the blood of Christ upon your child. Father, oh Lord, the same way you did it with me. The same way you did it with me, Father, oh Lord. May you change everything. And may they be blessed with their Sunday. May they be blessed with their Sunday, Father, oh Lord. Bless this mother, Father, oh Lord, that has not slept. Give her the strength, Father, oh Lord. Give her the strength, Father, oh Lord. Because her Sunday is coming. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. And we understand that you are going to make a miracle. And we will hear the grand testimony in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. And amen.
Thank you, Lord. Bronx, and I'm not going to come to the Bronx, but I live in the Bronx. But I was born and raised in the Bronx. For me, and as a young man, Rikers Island was a rite of passage in the 80s. It was nothing. It wouldn't seem as anything. And then never in my mind did I think that if I would be incarcerated, but I was thinking I was being incarcerated in the state of New York. But I ended up getting incarcerated in the state of South Carolina. And then eventually, through the Interstate Compact, came up to New Jersey. And I met Tone Henshaw. And we were very close. We stood up there, and I ended up doing 29 years and 7 months in prison. And then I was released. But when he was in there, he was telling me about everything that you said. And we would talk, and we build, and we had a little crew, and we call out teamwork hard. Because we always say we're going to work on ourselves and work hard to try to make ourselves the best person that we could be. So that if God ever gave us the opportunity to step out of here, that we will be able to shine. And so what occurred was that he went home. And when he went home, he said he would do this for me. Never in my wildest dream did I think it would happen. And he did it. And when I was released, it was actually September 4th of 2020 when I was released. He was there at the gate waiting for me. And that meant more to me than anything in the world because I didn't feel alone. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel alone. And that's something that for me is special. Even though I'm born in New York, I always say Jersey's my heart. Because all my comrades, everyone that I know, I left in Jersey. To this day, I still receive calls from Jersey. To this day, I still get JPays from Jersey. And why? Because my heart is there because I see some really good individuals, young men, lose their lives to the system. And I never say that I'm formally incarcerated. I always say I'm justice impacted. And the reason why I say that I'm justice impacted is because all of us have either been directly or indirectly justice impacted. If you have to walk the street and worry because of your color, your skin, if you can't go to a police officer, you're justice impacted. Right. If you have to worry about people, whether they Spanish, whether they black, whether they brown, but you have to worry about whether walking into this neighborhood is good, you're justice impacted because it was the justice system that created the system that we are in today. And so it needs people like Tone, it needs credible messengers to come out here and speak. And although right now I work for Exodus, I'm not representing Exodus at this meeting, but I love Exodus because Exodus gave me that opportunity to be a help to the community. And I just thank you. I really thank you because this means more to me than you can realize because seeing this work being done in the Bronx means the world to me. Thank you very much.
Amen. Next we got, what's your name, brother? Anthony. My name is Anthony Ortiz. I just want to thank everybody for welcoming me. I've been to churches before. Most of them speak. They practice the gospel of faith, but the thing about here that's unique, which moves me so much, is that this church doesn't only practice the gospel of faith, but the gospel of social justice. Everybody in here has a powerful message and story. And we talk about credible messages. Well, let me tell you my story. I come from a neighborhood no different from everybody here. A harsh, low-income neighborhood. I got involved with drugs as a teenager to get all the material things that I wanted, the cars, the clothes, the girls, all of the things that are traps. I got involved with them all. And I'm sure many other people have in this room as well. The difference is that whenever I got caught for dealing the little drugs I did, it was normal for me to think, well, I'll just get arrested and go out. And so I kept doing it, especially when I know there were older guys in my neighborhood already driving the fanciest cars, and I was like, I could do that too. There are no role models in my community teaching me to do otherwise. So why I can't do it as well? So I did it, got involved in the drug life, and about 2 years later, homicide came to pick me up. They said, hey buddy, come here. Not only do you have a federal conspiracy case, but the state is waiting for you on 2 murders. I didn't think it was possible because, to be honest with you, I thought there were safeguards in the system that would protect you against wrongful conviction. Namely, 2 homicides that you know you didn't commit. Okay? So, I really didn't take it serious. It was surreal to me because I thought, well, you know, the system will fix itself. You can't allow an innocent person to spend the rest of his life in prison for a crime he didn't commit. There was no evidence against me. So this is why I'm speaking to these kids directly, right? Who's the oldest out of all of you? How old are you? 14? Okay. You're my age now. This is why I say that. Because it was only 14 years ago that I was given a second chance. By the grace of God, I gave the time back. I have 50 years to life. From the age of 19 to the age of 40. That's when I came out. Right? So in many ways, I'm still reacclimating to society. Still figuring it all out. Okay? Now I'm telling you this because I never thought in a million years, because of nickel and dime drug dealing, because of my pursuit of the clothes, the cars, and all that, that would lead to me being in position to get accused of a double murder. And it happened with no evidence, just an informant saying, he told me he did it. That's the only evidence. And if you don't believe it, you can look it up in my case. My case is in the Court of Appeals. It's still precedent to this very day. I'm telling you kids because whether you realize it or not, coming from a low-income community, a neighborhood, struggles, you are a target for mass incarceration. If you've ever been in prison or ever visited somebody there, you're going to see people that look like me and everybody in this room. Because we make up the majority in prison. And that's by no coincidence. So I say that to you guys to realize that, listen, life is too valuable. All the things that I've accomplished since I've been out of prison, I became part of groups like Just Leadership that told me the people uniquely, right, qualified to make change are the people that have been through the situation. People in prison coming out now are becoming social justice leaders all around the nation. And you know why? Because they understand that we are uniquely qualified to make the change that benefits our community and change the disparities of the criminal justice system. They happen all the time. You know, everybody here has experienced injustice in some way. Probably not to the degree that I have, but still, listen, I'm not lying to you kids. You all are targets for mass incarceration. They will have no problem sending you to prison, putting you on parole, and violating you and keeping you in that stagnated cycle of incarceration. So I'm telling you this because you have the power. You have so much potential in you. And if you do the right thing, anything is possible. I know people came home. This is the guy speaking, getting his PhD. All the members who spoke up here right now. Amazing. Amazing, right? PhD. I mean, you don't understand the power you have now. And I'm glad that you kids came here because you could have been doing anything else. PlayStation 2, anything else right now.
Amen. Thank you for coming.
But you're here. So I appreciate that. And I send you my message because I lost the prime years of my life. From 19 to 40 years in prison, in a max prison at that. And I could tell you horror stories from here to tomorrow. But I don't need to do that. What I will say is that, remember, you're already a target. Coming from a low-income, tough neighborhood. They want to put you through the process of imprisonment. And so you can avoid that by taking heed for everything everybody else said here and doing what's right to you. Exercising your potential. You have greatness beyond what you know. Tap into that. Believe in yourself. And believe me, man, you'll avoid all of the imprisonment. That's probably about 250 years in this room, or probably more, 300 years of imprisonment. And that's a tragedy. That's a tragedy. And nothing about prison is fun. Don't glorify it, and whoever does, run away from them. They are fool. Anybody who glorifies prison is a fool. Run away from him. I tell you that because I love you kids. I see the potential, enormous potential, greatness. I want you to tap into that. Utilize that. Become somebody. Don't become a fucking statistic that says, damn, I'm on parole. And then your family suffers and your community suffers. Because the person doing the time doesn't suffer. The person that supports him, the family that supports him, the community comes from, it's a trickle-down effect. Don't give the criminal justice system that. Do the right thing, man. I believe in you kids. Really, that's all I want to say. And to everybody here, I love you for the work that you're doing. Amazing. Keep doing it, man. We need justice warriors to speak the truth. And those that are uniquely qualified and have credibility doing so. That's all I'm saying. And I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm not a very good speaker at all. I'm very, very, very nervous. I was only invited here for my brother, Unique Audio Mecca. Unique Mecca Audio. My uncle invited me. He's real deep. He's
yo, for real, what are you doing? You're trying to make it look, you got me crying. I went from gangster to wankster. No. I'm just letting you know, man.
I came to film for him. You know, he does a bunch of these events and he invites me to come. That's what I do. I film. You know, we all have the same story. I got involved in the streets. And I got involved because my father was in jail for 20. My father is the grandfather of criminal justice reform. Everything you guys are talking about, my father started that.
Can I just say something?
Yes, sir.
When I do my training, the picture starts with your father. He is my mentor. He is Clean Lacey's father. He is the movement.
Yes, sir. Yes,
We
sir.
here. It didn't die. He's not with us. But his words, his knowledge, and what he gave us, just know it lives on, my brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My dad was the organizer of the Black Panthers, the original organizer of the Black Panthers. Guys in Chicago, in California, Huey and Bobby Seals and them, they asked my father to send some guys to Cali to help them get it started. They're the third chapter. People don't know that. They think they started it.
Teachers.
I'm working on a documentary right now in connection with my uncle, Unique Audio Mecca and Mecca Audio. And my father went to prison under the counterintelligence program. Hoover and all of them, CIA, they had my father. COINTELPRO, they had my father and the family under surveillance and all of that. And he was arrested for a murder that he never committed. Went to prison, ended up in Attica. He was involved in the Attica riots. And as a result, after the Attica riots, they moved to Greenhaven and they started these think tanks. And that's just where all of these programs come from. Out of the think tanks, out of the guys from Greenhaven, my father and his crew was the first crew to demand college courses in prison. So everybody who has a degree from prison is a result of what my father and his crew did. They not only demanded college courses, they interviewed the people. They said, well, we want to interview the professors that's going to come. We'll pick the professors that's going to come. You know. So my dad and his crew, they was the first crew from prison to reach out to senators and congressmen to have the laws changed. And as a result, a lot of these programs sprang forward. And I'm just very I really couldn't make it to do the filming when my uncle, Nick Mecca Audio, invited me. But I said, I gotta come just to support this, just to see the faces, because this is so important for these kids. You know, this is not, these events is not televised by NBC and CBS and C-SPAN. So guys like this gentleman and my uncle Unique, he does this and comes so everybody can see that we trying to make it better for the community. You know, we didn't just, everybody who came out of here got a crazy story about how they got degrees and they doing things for the community. And they trying to reach kids so they can start that before they go to jail. So they don't have to come out, they don't have to sit in jail for 10 and 20 years and learn and think and then come out and really make these moves. These gentlemen is here to teach y'all so y'all can make those moves now. I don't have to go to jail. Y'all know, I went to jail. I did time. If my father was out, I would have never been in jail. And I got out of prison because another lieutenant came and said, Eddie Ellis is your father? And I was in a shock program. And I was fighting everything. I was about to get kicked out because I couldn't handle all that, you know, it was pressure. And the lieutenant came to me and he said, Eddie Ellis was your father? And I said, yeah. He said, Eddie Ellis was a stand-up guy, one of the best prison reform personalities, and he pulled some strings at me. He said, don't come back here. And he got me out because of who my father was. But I just, you know, I'm just saying all of that to say that please, for the kids, do it now. Don't wait, don't wait to go to jail and have to get a degree in jail and all that. Go to school now, learn now. Stay away from peer pressure. Peer pressure, that's what it is. You got a lot of, all your little boys, and you got little shorties, little cuties where you want to do things to them. Don't do that. Go to school, get your degree, get your education, your high school diplomas, your college or profession. Nowadays, kids need to learn how to start their own businesses. You can't get paid working for these people. There's no way we're gonna, this is what they want, this cycle. You know, the whole police system is just a taxation.
I was sentenced to 14, 30, 40 years. And I went up north and we lost contact for a while. But I was able to be in a day room one time and I see this man on TV. That shit is crazy. But being here is such a privilege and it's an honor for me because that dream that he took, right? He went out and did it, but went back in because, you know, it happens. If we lose focus and we slip, we end up back where we came. And this man, you know, I had the opportunity. I came out July 28, 2004. I thought education was a thing, right? I went on and got my bachelor's degree 6 months after I got out. 5 years after that, I got my master's, and then 5 years after that, I got my PhD. You know? And I always say that we have a responsibility when we talk about rehabilitation to change ourselves, right? That didn't happen here in New York. Ended up reaching out to Tone out of DC. Had the opportunity to meet Lacey. He's also on you know, went back. I was working for the Department of Ministry for 18 services. I had my own so I had the opportunity basically to see movement. Where we go,